Whoa. Oh, I think that we're live. Hey, we're live. That client gone. She's gone. Okay, we will be back.
Hello, it's me. Ugh, and Denzel. Nothing.
Uh, yeah, eventually we're gonna get this down pat. Can you even see chats from here? Somebody
Two
say
people
something.
are watching.
Oh. But can we see chats?
So I don't know. Why do I have to do everything?
Oh, okay, we can.
Yeah, 'cause
Awesome.
I just did that.
That's great. All right. So, first of all, sorry that we're late. I'm probably actually gonna have to wait until people show up to explain this over again, or they can just watch post stream. But sorry we're late. We're actually on. We registered for Personality Hackers romance relationship webinar, where they're literally doing side by side dynamic comparisons for each of the personality types. And today they are actually interviewing Jamila for my type. So she's welcome to talk about how horrible it is to be married to me and FJ. And we were supposed to be doing that 7 p.m. But now it's looking like we might have to be doing it actually at 6 p.m. There's stuff that's going on or whatever. But we'll let you guys know. I'm just waiting on an email to, say that y'all gotta go. But if anything, we'll probably just come back tonight or later on tonight and do whatever. Anyways, in the meantime, I am Denzel.
I'm Jamila.
This is Jamila. And today we just decided that we were going to have a live stream where we discuss. Wait, do you guys hate each other?
Yes.
I feel like it'd be hard to believe that I hate her, but it'd be pretty easy to believe that she hates me. Do you agree with that?
Yes.
Why is that?
Because I do.
Okay. But I don't really hate you though, right?
You do, but nobody knows it but me.
Why would you know that, but not anybody else?
Because I see through your soul.
Okay. So,
Gang.
Charles Benson. He was the one that was in Dave's Superpowers video. Remember,
No.
featured him, the guitar thing. Yeah, exactly. I don't really hate you. That's exactly how. Wait. Oh no. Oh, she's talking about me. No, that's not the case. Yeah, that's definitely not the case. I actually love Jamila. And I think I show that very, very openly. If you've watched the 2 hours and 15 minutes of our honeymoon video and everything, I think
Ray left me while I was sick and shut in. Hi, best friend!
Yo, yeah, what's up, David? I said, please don't express much emotion outwardly. We seem self-absorbed, but we do care.
I wouldn't say I seem self-absorbed, but you're right. We don't express our emotions well.
Yeah. Like, I would say that ISFPs express their emotions very well, but not verbally, except for the vows that you did. But even then, that took
I
her
wouldn't
over a
even
month to
say
do
not
that.
verbally. I don't know how to explain it. We express it well in the ways that we care about.
Okay, so, oh, well, you just said you don't know how to explain it.
No, I can't explain it.
Okay, so in us being married for officially a month now, we're not out there. We are stoic. So are you? Hopefully, I'm saying it right, Matthias. I'm gonna open it up on my laptop because it just keeps on disappearing. What's the one thing y'all never agree
Everything.
on? Oh wow, these are a lot of chats.
Do you want practical or vulnerable? Practical. After Denzel washes dishes, he likes to let them air dry. I like to dry them and put in the cabinet. Vulnerable. I feel like he shouldn't have female friends, but he wouldn't care if I had guy friends.
Yeah. I think that's pretty fair. I if it were up to me, wait, you said that you. What did you say about the cabinet thing just now? Actually,
You like to let dishes sit out and air dry.
yes.
And I like to just dry them, put them
And
in the
then put
cabinet.
them in the cabinet. Yeah. Okay. See, the reason why I don't like to do that is because that wastes paper towels.
It doesn't have to. We can have regular towels. In fact, we do have regular towels, and that's how I dry them sometimes.
Oh well, I mean, if we can do that, then yeah, I wouldn't mind. I just remember paper towels were being used, and it's like, bro, we can just let these air dry for like an hour or so, and
But
then
the
we
thing
can
is,
put
there's
these.
always still like a little drip of water, so I gotta.
And that's fine, if it's like a little drip. But if you're like drying off a whole thing with like 5 paper towel rolls, then interesting perspective. I have female friends, but would not want a girl who talks to other dudes. So I don't know. I'm not controlling though. Yeah, I'm not controlling. And even then, when we're talking about like female friends, if we're being real, only like about 2 people come to mind right now. I'm not gonna say who they are. They know who they are, and you know who they are. But one of them, I'm gonna say one of them is married. Another one is also taken, and yeah.
Can I just never mind?
See, and now they're gonna watch this, and then they're gonna feel bad.
Oh, that wasn't my intention.
That's another thing. She is insensitive toward other people's feelings.
Wow.
Just like what Charles said. Stoic and self-absorbed.
Wow.
I'm talking like Rogelio. Stoic and self-absorbed.
But see, the thing is, I just made it very general. You just narrowed it. You just narrowed it down. I just said, oh, Denzel thinks that he can have, or I wouldn't want Denzel to have female friends. He wouldn't mind if I had guy friends.
And what I was saying was that I only have like 2.
Mm-hmm.
Like that I'm actually consistently speaking to.
Mm-hmm.
Most of them are like friends of yours that just happen to be friends of mine too. But friends of mine too. And then, because like, let's be honest, like freshman year, I had like 30.
Yeah, that's true.
And now I talk to like 2 who are like taken.
Denzel's phone was always blown up.
Yeah. And now it's like I don't like talk to like anyone. So there's like that. Now the 2 that I talk to them a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But even then it's not like that. And then but yeah, I'm not controlling in the sense where just like she said.
Yeah, Denzel's not controlling.
I don't. Yeah, if she Jonathan, our friend Jonathan, he called her on FaceTime randomly out of nowhere, and he wears glasses, but so I don't usually see him without glasses. So I'm washing the dishes, and I turn around and I see her talking to this dude like a deep voice and everything. My first reaction was not, and she was happy when she saw him, and she's like talking to him and everything. My first thought wasn't like, who's this dude that she's talking to? I was just like,
That would be my first reaction.
yeah, that's literally how you would be. But I was just like, oh, I don't know who that is. Like, but it might be somebody from work or whatever. I don't really care because I am secure,
That's true.
and I trust us. It's been 5 years, and it's just funny because I'm the one who chased her for 2 years when she told me that I was not only not good enough for her, but I was 40% of what she wanted in a man. So if anything, I should be the one who's concerned that she finds somebody else.
So are you upset?
And I'm not upset. I'm just putting out good reasoning. In my opinion, I think it's good reasoning, um, for for you to not be upset about anything like that, because not only do we find that compromise, or if anything more than a compromise, where I've been trying to, like, whatever, but at the same time it's like, yeah, like what really, like, what is the likelihood? If I would have left you or something, I definitely would have done it by now. I would not have bought you that ring. So yeah, there's that. Yeah, and she. Oh, this is what you're talking about, where I always show off mine, but you showed yours off first. What's the one thing I'll never agree on? While FE users can be really out there, it's freaking ties. Both. Interesting perspective. Have female friends? Yeah. Trolling. Either use towels or just let them air dry. They can belly dance in the wind. I like you. I still don't know how to pronounce the name. I think it's Matthias. That's how I'm gonna say it. But it could be Matthias. I'm not trying to upset you though. I'm really sorry. If it makes you feel any better, people can't pronounce my name, both the nickname and the actual name. They'll say Denzel, and it's like, I said Denzel. Yeah, and you're even worse. Like Jamila. It's Jamila. She changed her name on Facebook now to Mila because apparently putting the J at the beginning of that is just that difficult.
And also because Mila Mensah, I think, has a cool sound to it.
Yeah, that's true.
David asked, what are other things that have been hard to adjust to while living together? As an introvert, I am 140% in love with Denzel. And before being married, we spent as much time together as we possibly could. And so, like, thinking about being married, it's like, oh, like, that'll be great. He's my best friend. We're going to be, like, together all the time. It's going to be great. Mm-hmm. But it's, like, different because I really have to be conscientious about my energy. And, like, there's nothing wrong with Denzel. Despite me saying that I hate him, and despite me saying that I feel like he shouldn't have any female friends, I actually do believe that Denzel is perfect. And so even though me saying what I'm about to say, I'm not really saying it's a bad thing, but Denzel, like, brings a lot of energy. And if you know anything about MBTI, I'm not saying he's like the stereotypical, like, ESFP or ENFP, but, like, he just brings a lot of energy all the time. And it's just different for me to be around that, like, basically 24/7, and not really have, like, my own, like, space, I guess. But, like, not even external space, just, like, my own emotional space. Because it's not really just me anymore. It's me and another person. Yes, I am mellow and I am yellow. So, yeah, that's one thing for me personally that I've had to adjust to, and I'm still adjusting to, because, anyway, we're not going to get into that. But yeah, that I'm still, this always calls me a cat. Personally, I don't really like cats. Well, no, I like cats. I'm just more of a dog person. But thank you. I'll take that as a compliment. I like you. Whoa, I don't know you, but. So I want to cry alone. I mean, I feel I'm the same way. That's interesting. Crying. I've never really been the type of person that felt like, oh, crying is like a sign of weakness and don't let anybody ever see you cry, blah, 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 blah. I've never really been like that, but I don't know. Like, I don't really mind if Denzel sees me cry. I sometimes don't want him to. It's weird. I like feel these two things at the same time. I don't want him to see me cry because I don't want him to feel bad, but I want him to see me cry so that he feels bad. Well, not so he feels bad, but that's so he can help me. But yeah. I mean, I don't need to cry alone, and I feel like to a certain extent I really shouldn't because I'm married now, and like we should in a way like share each other's burdens, and I shouldn't want to close myself off to him. But so it doesn't have to be an extreme emotion like sadness. It's just in general, just emotionally, like I feel.
Mm, yeah. Well, to go back on the energy thing, it's kind of like a flip on the coin as well, because I think I wouldn't say that me and her are on opposite spectrums because once again, personally
I'm
speaking,
vanilla, he's chocolate.
personally speaking, I wouldn't consider my energy to be like an EFP's energy where it's
Right.
like like despite what you guys probably saw in the JamZel Ask and Tell honeymoon video and all of that, I honestly put on for that in the camera. like like when I get on camera and everything, then it's like especially because what did you say that balloon analogy that you made?
Oh, I don't remember.
Well, she said something. Pretty much, her whole thing was that I take up as much space necessary, energy wise. So if I see like if you guys go check out the video that I did with Kylisa, not the ENFP one, which is that's a whole other story, but the
She's
one where it's like
ESFP.
yeah, 5 aspects of a healthy relationship, which platonic or romantic. My energy in that one was a lot different than the energy that I brought to me in Caleb's interview video because Caleb has a similar energy to Sheila, where he's very he wasn't even like looking at the camera, stuff like that. And so I wasn't about to like match his energy or even bring my normal energy onto the camera because nobody's gonna watch the video. So instead, for the lack of energy that she has, I will bring that energy so that I can make up for it. I can balance it. But when we're in the house, yeah, I think the biggest energy that I'll bring is like in the morning. Not that I'm like a morning person or whatever, but I just like to start the day off good. So it'd be that, and when she comes home from work. I work from home, so that's good. Like my life coaching, which by the way, if y'all want life coaching, let me know. No, $50
Before
an
he
hour
jacks
right
the
now.
prices up.
Yeah, next month I'm getting my certification in profiling because I'm in the profiler training and everything. Yeah, sorry, just got a text. Profiler training thing, and after that I'm going to be jacking the prices up. I should have already jacked them up a long time ago, but anyway. So when it comes to like with coaching and all of that, uh, she comes home from work and I'll be home, and I've just made it up in my mind that kind of like we were talking about like her energy being like a cat's and mine being like a dog's. Um, I'm not super hyper or whatever, but a dog is always happy when their owner comes home. Not that she owns me, but
Yes, I do.
you don't own me. But so whenever she comes home from work, I like to just jump off on a good beat, and no matter like whatever I'm doing, I like to go and meet her at the door and give her a hug and like help her out or whatever. And she's a cat, so I don't expect her to do that to me. Like a cat doesn't really care whether you're coming home right now or not, or if they do, they won't really express it. You won't see a cat really come to the door or anything. You'll come and meet the cat in the room, and then you'll sit down you'll pet her or something, you know. And that's pretty much how it is. So that you expect what you expect from a cat, and you expect what you expect from a dog. So with the whole energy thing, yeah, I'm not like super hyper or whatever, but I just like to I like to feel connected, and a lot of times Jamila can be very distant, and when she is distant, that's when, if we're being honest, other friends come in handy. So like I can go and talk to David, or like if she's talking about like it'll be like too much energy and she needs that time to herself or whatever, totally fine with me, just as long as you're okay with me going to talk to someone else. Because then the other alternative would be, well, either I blast all of this energy towards you and you have to take it, you have to accept it, or you allow me to disperse it amongst a few loved ones, and then you don't have to get that full blast. And as an ENFJ, I have a lot of loving energy, so I do disperse it amongst friends, amongst family members, amongst you guys. Like when I come out and I do my videos and everything, that's me pushing out the energy. All of these thoughts and stuff that I have, like I'm putting it out on camera and everything. And so then when I'm able to get a lot of that out already, then I can come to Jamila with either the remainder, or I can do the reverse, where I come to her with the original amount of energy and then I leave the remainder for you guys. And either way, it still works out because she doesn't really take as much energy from me anyway. Um, but it's also interesting because she's the introvert, yet I am the one who I need more alone time than she does. Like Jamila said that despite the energy thing, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, she said that she could literally be with me 24/7. I couldn't do that. Not as in not as in living together or whatever, but I require like complete solitude, not interacting with anyone time, like at least 2 to 3 hours a day. And usually I get that either while she's at work, while in the morning because I usually always wake up before she does, or at night because I usually fall asleep later than she does. So we've been pretty good with that, but pretty much while she's up, then I do try to spend as much time with her as possible. And then while she's asleep or while she's at work or whatever, then I have my me time. But when I have my me time, I don't want to be catering to anybody's needs. I want to just focus on my own needs. And so, yeah, there's that. And hold on, let me make sure. Okay, hey DZ, the ENTJ showed up, so they're doing that hot seat right now. Joel confirmed 7 p.m. for your hot seat. Awesome, so we got till 7 p.m., guys. So yeah, we can continue to talk about whatever. How'd you just post a photo?
I did it.
That's weird. Okay. Anyway, yeah, so that's the whole energy thing there. Mellow's cats. You wanna cry alone? Cat kills me. I relate.
Yeah, I don't really know if I resonate with that.
Okay. With what I said?
Yeah, I'm about to explain.
Sorry.
Because that's kind of what I was explaining earlier about like needing my own space, but the difference is like when I get home from work or I'm just home and awake, then not to say that I don't want to be around you, but I know that you want me to be around you, and so then I make it a point to be around you. Yeah. But like there are times where I would want to do something that I feel like I would be most productive by myself. But I'm like, no, I won't do that so that way I can be around Denzel. because, yeah. But like you get your quote unquote alone time. Like you just said, when I'm away or when I'm asleep. So then when I'm around, you want me to be around. And like I'll be around for you. I don't really mind. But yeah. And like before when I said that, like we weren't married yet. It's like I said, it just kind of goes back to the incorrect expectations I had, I guess.
Mm. So would you say that you needed more alone time than I do?
I don't know.
Okay. Okay. Well,
Oh,
let me.
thank you. And there's a 51% chance that I think you are too.
I haven't even got to what you're talking about yet, but I'm sure you're talking to David, possibly. That's so good. Be one big ice cream together. That's me. I never look at the camera. Working from home is great. You get to work whenever you want, and you still make money for it, and you just create your own schedule. You're your own boss. It's awesome. That makes sense. My ENFJ best friend, well, not anymore, talks to himself and people in his mind at night. Oh, I don't think I talk to myself, but I do talk. No, actually, no, I do talk to myself, but I don't have conversations with myself. Wait. Yeah, and now I'm thinking about the video
I meant to
posted.
tell you the other night you were talking in your sleep. Actually, it's happened twice.
Oh no.
And the second time, because I wasn't even asleep yet, I don't think. And the second time, you had said something, and I was like, what are you talking about, or something? And you're like, and you just went back to sleep. I was like, oh, my little sugar muffin.
Did I actually say anything?
Yeah, you did. The second time you said right or something, and I was like, right what? And then you were like, oh, or something, and you just went back to sleep. Oh, my little chocolate ice cream.
That's very interesting. That's very interesting. Oh my goodness, that's actually kind of nerve wracking. Like, I have a fear of getting drunk and getting my wisdom teeth pulled because of the getting high thing, because I'm afraid of the things that I would say.
You just don't cheat on me in your dreams.
Okay. Moving on. Talks himself. Okay, that would make sense. You are intuitive. Sensors can handle more sensory input, but we still get overloaded. Example, had great band practice yesterday, but afterwards I sat in my room, almost passed out. Yeah, I get sensory overload very easily. Like at parties and everything. Like I can dance for like a bit, and then I'm like, whew. I gotta and if it's like just too loud and too noisy, if there's too many things that's just going on, then I get very anxious. So yeah, that's definitely a thing for me. Does that affect you bad or good, Jamila? Sorry if my questions are stupid like me.
Wow, are you really stupid?
I don't think.
I doubt it. I don't know what you're referring to. Him talking to himself, does that affect me bad or good? We're kind of late.
Oh yeah, I think we're late. Yeah, I think they were talking about something else.
Yeah, what are you talking about?
Hot Tanisha. 49% chance. That's funny.
But I don't know if I would say.
Sorry.
Like in terms of like being married, I don't think that I would say there are moments where I don't want to be noticed. And actually, I'm like we're slowly learning about Enneagram and everything. You leaving your projects for Denzel's art. Okay, I'm gonna have to read that again later. I like us being married and everything. Oh, that's what I'm talking about. Enneagram. So one of the facets of my instinct, which is a social instinct, is that I like always want to be noticed, even though I always hide. And so Yeah. So I wouldn't say that I'm like, I don't want to be noticed by him. But, like, from the general population, probably. But Denzel, no, not really.
Mhm.
And even still, I think there's like an underlying, please notice me as I hide behind this rock.
Mhm. Oh, you're a 6 self-preservation social. Okay.
Oh, turn up.
Yeah. You are a 4 social. Self.
Mm-hmm.
Social sexual. Right.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I couldn't hear because I need to kick my ESTP brother in the face. Well, we didn't read that. In case you get in trouble.
What is he doing? Is he playing music? I want to hear.
I be talking in my sleep sometimes too, kind of scary. Dang,
What do
Joseph told you that,
say?
David?
I want to hear what you be saying in your sleep.
Yo, my nigga, chill out. That's and oh, that's so
You need to
cute.
kiss. Why wait? What? I missed that. When do we need a kiss?
Yeah. OMG, what would you say, Drunk Denzel? That's the point. I'm not gonna say what would Drunk Denzel say. In fact, I don't even know what Drunk Denzel would say.
I know
That's
what
the
he would
scary
say.
part. One thing about me is I'm always super conscious of what I'm saying. It may sound like it, like, okay, I have this theory, and actually EPs have confirmed this, including Antonia Dodge. She said that for NE dominance, especially, as they're talking, then things start to make sense. I relate to that a little bit, but I'm thinking about what I'm saying as I'm saying it. And so I don't really relate to that whole thing about just speaking and not like, I'm always conscious of whatever I'm saying. That's pretty much what I'm saying right now. And so thinking about not being conscious of what I'm saying and the idea of like waking up with a hangover and then people are like, "Oh, you don't remember what you said last night?" Nightmare. So yeah, not sharing whatever I'd say. I don't even know what I would say, but that's the thing. I don't want to know what I would say. I was talking about you leaving your projects for Denzel's
Give him something to
karate
eat. Yeah, I'm sorry. I just don't really understand your question.
I'm a big weeaboo. So that's why I said Lawai. Kawaii.
Charles, is Charles the ISFP?
Yes.
Yeah, I talked to myself too. One day, there was this poll on this ISFP group on Facebook, and it asked how many ISFPs talk to themselves. And it was like, everybody does. I was like, wow, that's crazy.
Drunk Denzel would describe Kylisa's room in detail. Just wow. Whoa. Well, Kalisa
See,
and I don't
read
speak
that,
anymore.
but then I didn't really understand it until you just said it out loud.
Yeah. Well, funny story. Kalisa and I, after we confessed in that video that we pretty much had a falling out right before that video.
Gang, gang.
And then the funny thing is, right after that video, couple weeks later, we had another falling out, and this time we haven't spoken since. Like, it's been months and we haven't spoken.
Yeah,
we
she
see
blocked
each
us
other.
and everything.
Yeah.
And
so,
every time we're in the same vicinity, she hide and run away. But anyway,
Yeah.
that's none of y'all's business. But
yeah, that's true. We won't talk much more about that. But just fun fact.
I don't know. I've been wondering that ever since that poll, why we talk to ourselves. Maybe because we are the only ones who know for sure that we care about what we have to say. And maybe, and yeah, and I don't know, maybe because we're just most comfortable with ourselves and most vulnerable with ourselves. I don't know.
That's really daunting about Kalisa thing, but I shouldn't ask
I
questions.
mean, you can hit her up. Just kidding.
Don't do that. But yeah, plus you use TE.
Wait, how does TE relate to talking to yourself?
I think he's talking about how like you have to hear something in the external, maybe. But then that would actually be with FE as well, because TE is inferior. then I actually don't think that that would be as necessary. Um, yeah. But anyway, I feel happy because I'm all caught up with the chats so far. Um, and so I think now I'm going to bring up another question for you. Um, I just forgot what the question was. Oh yeah, what has been the hardest thing about living with me so far?
Oh, well, I mean, I think I already talked about
Is
it.
that what David said?
I mean, that's not
That's
what he
what he
said, but
asked.
that's
Is
not really what he asked, but that was my answer.
okay. Oh well, then if that's good. I'm glad. Um, okay. Well then, next question.
Oh
Next
boy.
question. Why? So Jamila has this thing where she doesn't like when I asked her, how do I truncate this? One night we were just chilling. I came home. I randomly like to just tell like Jamila, we're married, and she's like, yeah, she pretty much did that. Yeah, very excitable. Um, and I was like, are you happy to be married? And then she's like, yeah. And I'm like, do you love your husband? She's like, yeah. I'm like, well, is there anything that he can be doing to be better for you? And she's like, he can stop asking me that. I'm like, oh.
I
So,
never remember that.
yeah, well, you definitely said that. And I was like, okay. But this isn't the first time that you've said that. At least, it's the first time since you've been married, but you've said that before. Why is that such a thing to you? Like, for constructive criticism on being a better significant
Like
other.
me giving you constructive criticism?
Yes.
Denzel, because I don't have anything to give you. I told you before. There's so many things that I could like tell other people. Like I'm really not biased when it comes to you. And you don't believe me. anytime almost anytime that you do something that bothers me, you know that it bothers me. I bring it up, or you feel an attitude or something, and then that's that. So I have no reason to not tell you something that I feel like can help you slash help us, but I literally don't have anything for you.
Hmm.
And so you keep asking me, it's like when people keep saying sorry, like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, oh my gosh, just stop saying sorry, okay, I'm sorry. Ugh! That's like the same kind of thing, like, oh, not that you say this, but like, oh, I'm perfect, I'm perfect, I'm perfect, I'm perfect. Is there anything I could do for you? Yeah, you could stop being perfect. Oh, dang, you understand? I kind of messed it up, but it makes sense in my head.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to process that. That's a lot. Okay.
Basically, you always asking that proves my point to the point where it gets annoying because it's proving my point of perfection, and then it's annoying because you don't even see it, and so there's that.
One thing that Jamila and I have been talking about recently is compromise. Jamila claims that I don't compromise, and I talked a little bit about this in my penultimate video, where I was discussing the authenticity of FE. And Jamila says that I don't meet her halfway, but I just go the full way. And apparently that's been a problem to her because she you just don't like that, right?
I don't like what?
You don't like that I meet you all the way instead of like halfway.
I don't know.
Well, you brought it up and you were talking about.
Yeah, I remember. I think it's one of those things where, I mean, I like it because I get what I want, but I don't like it because you don't get what you want.
But yeah, okay, yes, that's what it was. And so my thing that I've been telling her is that her getting what she wants and being happy is ultimately me getting what I want,
And then
because I wanted her to be happy. But if I got quote unquote what I wanted and then she wasn't happy, then ultimately I didn't get what I wanted because she's not happy. So ultimately everything is supposed to make her happy. And yeah, I think that's really interesting and underrated as well. She probably feels burdened to go ham when she really doesn't feel like it. Wait a minute.
yeah, I'm a little confused. But the thing is, I feel like everybody has an identity and everybody has intrinsic things that they value. And I think that in some circumstances, Denzel really doesn't care, and he'll just do whatever I want. But then in other things, I feel like maybe he does have preferences, but he doesn't know, or like he has things that like bother him, but he doesn't know, and so then he just does what I want. But then eventually, I feel like he'll. This is what I told him, that I feel like eventually he'll start to lose his identity, and then eventually resent me, because in 20 years he'll be like, who am I? For the past 20 years, I've only been answering to your beckoning call, and I've never done anything for me, and you've never done anything.
See, yeah, and that's the crazy thing, because I totally see myself as having a strong identity, and if
I do
anything,
too.
I feel like my identity only continues to get stronger.
I agree.
What does identity mean to you?
It means
Which
the
is
same
funny
thing that it
because
means to me.
Tanisha and I actually had this discussion. She said that she doesn't think that anybody really has an identity, and that was a very interesting discussion that we had. It was almost like a paradox, but while you're explaining that, she's probably going to type out her argument for that, or she won't. I don't know. Depends on how she's feeling. You're going to get me started on this, really. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, it depends on how she's feeling. But what does identity mean to you?
I think that it means the same thing that it means to you. All I'm saying is that there are just certain things that I feel like you neglect. And therefore, over time, as you're chipping away, like if this is somebody's identity, oh, you can't see. If this is somebody's identity, then like this part
You're so
is like mostly, it's like all the important things basically, and then this part is like the things that you don't really. It's like the things that you don't really realize are like affecting you. Right.
Right.
Are like the things that you don't really feel like realize are affecting you until 20 years down the road, and it's just this left, and you missed all of that.
I'm sorry, guys. I'm so childish, but that was just too much. Okay, but I think I was able to pay attention to what you were saying, and I think for me, my identity comes from my NI and my TI. So my identity comes more from my thoughts and my philosophies, as opposed to my desires, like maybe how it would be with you. But my philosophies and all of that, the way that I view the world, that's kind of like my identity, and I don't think that anybody can necessarily strip that from me. They can change it, as in like they can influence my worldview.
So you're saying that your identity is how you view the world?
I think so. I might have to process that, so I'm not gonna like write that in ink, but
yeah, because so. I feel like there's probably a handful of people that view the world the exact same, or almost the exact same way that you do. Like, I feel like you and me view the world very similarly,
Mm-hmm.
but differently, mainly because of our personalities. And like I feel like me and Bethany, we view the world in almost the exact same way.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to process that. I feel like I know what I want to say, but I have to make sure that it's fine tuned and fair TI problems. Um, but yeah, I I think like even though even if I may have similar worldviews to other people,
Mm.
the way that I process them, the things that I think about, the areas I think about, and everything, is not what many other people may process or think about in that order. And then when I present it to them and I put their hand on it, then that's when they now join me in my worldview or they help me sharpen mine, things like that. But it still ends up being different.
That's so interesting. Okay. I thought that like identity was kind of self-explanatory. But when I think of identity, I don't think of other people. Like, what do
Yeah.
other people have to do with me? What do other people have to do with who I am as a person? I mean, that didn't come out right.
Well,
Other people
you,
kind of like influence your identity,
yeah,
but
exactly. And that's actually what Tanisha says. And identity is a very abstract word. So when you're thinking about identity, you have to think about other people because it's what sets you apart from other people. So if you don't really
yeah.
know what other people are thinking, how they're thinking,
See,
or how
that's
they
where
are, and
we
everything.
differ. If you don't know yourself, then you can't separate yourself from other people.
I guess that makes sense because I I saw this tweet. Jamila's an SFP. She's ISFP, but essentially it was pretty much the difference between FI and FE, and especially uh, FE with NI. The tweet said the difference to tell an NFP from an NFJ is NFP from understanding myself, I'm able to understand other people. And then from the NFJ, from understanding other people, I'm able to understand myself. I wrote an article for Personality Hacker on discovering your passion and actualizing it, something like that. And in that article, I addressed how each personality type may be able to discover their passion and stuff like that. And the way that I addressed it for the NFJs is that with NFJs, they have to get lost. And there's even like a quote from an FE user, I think it was Gandhi, but I'm not sure, where it's like, in order to find your purpose in life, you have to get lost in helping other people. I don't think that's an FI thing. Like, if for FI users, they pretty much have to like separate themselves from other people and then look within or something. But for FE users, they pretty much will get lost in helping everybody else. And then as they're helping everyone else, then they find where they best fit because there's several different ways of meeting people's needs. One thing that people should recognize when it comes to FE is that when they say FE is meeting people's needs, it's not like, oh, making them happy. It's literally meeting people's needs. And sometimes you may need something that won't taste good. So there's several different ways in where you can meet people's needs. There's several different like areas, and when you find where yours is, then that's not only your niche, but on top of that, the way that I think plays a big part in that. So then I know where my role is in society, and I guess that's what becomes my identity, like knowing where my role is in society. Um, while also, of course, the cliche but truthful thing, my identity is found in Christ, which is, once again, my role in society. As a Christian.
So then, how do you differentiate identity and purpose? Because I feel like my identity is who I am, and like other people do like influence like the cultivation of my identity and everything, but I feel like my my purpose is more relational than it is like whatever.
Identity and purpose. This is too heavy for a live stream because I'm gonna be sitting here stroking my chin for like the next 5 minutes.
Yeah, do you understand what I'm saying? Like I feel like your identity, like I feel like we are born with an identity, and then as we get older, then we we kind of nourish it and help it grow through different facets, the way we think, conversations or like experiences with other people, like the things we watch, the things we listen to, the things we believe in, don't believe in, like all of that is just like adding on to like if it's a snowman, our identity is already the bottom little ball, but then eventually you just put on top. And then our purpose is like if the snowman was real, then our purpose would be like playing with the little kids and making sure they don't fall and hit their head on the ice, etc., etc.
Mm. Yeah. Well, what you had me stumped at was that we're born with identity. Hold on. Purpose has to do
Yes, I agree with David. That's
what we are called to do, but identity has to do with who we are called to be. Yeah, I agree with David too. Hold on. All right, but yeah. So then, where do we differ in that?
I don't know. You were just talking about identity, and you were saying something about like you find like helping people. I don't know. Something had to do with people, and then to me that sounded like purpose. That didn't sound like identity.
I think. Oh no, I mixed it. So I said that you find your place in society. So that's one aspect, which is the helping people and everything. But then I said my philosophies on life, the way that I think, all of that, that's kind of where my identity comes in play. Because the way that I will influence society, so it's kind of like
nobody else can do it the way that you do it.
exactly.
Yeah, I agree
because
with that.
so the way that I think everything, even though people may have similar worldviews, they just, not to seem like a special snowflake, but they don't think
we
like,
all are different snowflakes.
yeah.
Everybody that has ever existed and will exist, we are all of the snowflakes in the winter time put together.
That's it. Yeah. And so that's how I see it. That my identity and my purpose are like intertwined in a way, where it's like my identity is found in the way that I think and how I view the world, kind of like what I was saying earlier.
That's interesting.
But then my purpose stems from that.
Yeah.
Because that's when I come out and I help people with whatever they're doing, stuff like that. So me helping people stems from that identity of mine. But I'm not sure if that would mean that I was born with that identity, or like it kind of is like the chicken came first, the egg came first type of thing. So yeah, that's interesting. Also, Matthias, I'm just gonna keep on calling you Matthias unless whatever. The Gandhi thing. I actually made a video. The Gandhi thing. Yes, it's inaccurate. Like I looked into that. I actually made a video about it. I called it "Our Heroes Are Human." So if you want, you can go check that out. And I actually talked about the Gandhi thing. Gandhi did not fiddle with children. He slept with children, but as in he literally slept in the same bed with children. And if anything, he was doing the opposite. The opposite of what the articles implied, which was in order to since he was in order to reach nirvana and get away from the woes of the world and everything and master temptation or whatever, then he would intentionally place himself in temptation. Oh, that actually sounds bad. I don't want to paint him like that. Hopefully, if I got this properly, he would intentionally place himself in temptation to teach himself how to fight that temptation. So he didn't fiddle around with any of the children, but more so he just slept in the same bed with them. And I believe, from what I remember, they were naked. If you want, you can go back and refer to that video. Like I said, it's called Our Heroes Are Human. It has Gandhi, Bill Cosby, Michael Jackson, and Martin Luther King Jr., where pretty much I was explaining that all of these people allegedly did bad things, and we used that bad thing to just destroy their whole reputation and refute all of the good that they did. And I don't like that, because all of the good that they did, yeah, we can still acknowledge the bad that they've done, but we should be very we should still acknowledge all the good that they've done too. And we shouldn't like just ignore the bad, but we also shouldn't ignore the good. So yeah, like I said, you can go check out that video. I had just read the article like the night before, so it was like fresh and everything. Yeah, Tenacious says, you can say you have your own identity, but there's a very high chance that another person out there does exactly what you do, or in an eerily similar fashion. So how different are you really? Now, me being a Christian, I say our identities come from Christ. Who we are is made of his image. What our purpose is will play into our personalities that we develop. Okay, so here's the thing with that. A lot of people always talk about like how like, yeah, my identity is found in Christ, you know, yada yada yada. Once again, I wrote a blog on this too, and it's like, yes, that's true, but it's almost like what Dash said in Incredibles, where Mrs. Incredible is like, everyone's special, Dash, and then he's like, which is another way of saying no one is. Your identity is found in Christ. Whoa, me too. You know, so it's like, so then what really sets you apart from the other person? That's where your personality comes in, and you said that earlier. You know, like you'd like to just call that a personality. Now, even while we still may have the same personality types, the way that I use my FE and NI is going to be different from how Martin Luther King Jr. uses it. It's going to be different from how Oprah uses hers. It's going to be different from how what's dude's name again? Can't remember it. Raymond Reddington. Yeah, I was gonna say, how did I just Nelson Mandela? Yeah, Mandela. How he uses his. Now it's similar, but the exact way that we use it, that's how I see like identity plays a part. And so even like the
because
personality
it's coming from a different place, a different bottom snowball.
Yeah. And so the way that so that's why I was saying like the way that I think, all of that, even if I'm still using the same functions as all these other ENFJs or whatever, and even if it may look similar or whatever, which as an ENFJ we're always trying to look for what we have in common with other people, because that's how we have connection. But I don't see that as identity. I see that as your purpose.
Because Denzel can't help but talk about how he influences people, so it sounds very action and purpose oriented. But he's saying that it comes from like inside, like how, like his thought process on how he comes to his conclusions is going to be different from how Martin, Nelson, Oprah, how they come to their conclusions. And so then therefore, when he actually executes them based on his thought process, it's going to look different. And that execution, and I agree with you, is the purpose. But his thought process behind it, what he's saying is that's his identity, because that's what he has been cultivating for 23 plus years.
Yeah.
Which is different from, you know, Martin Luther King's and whatever, how their process is and how they've become whoever they are or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's exactly it. Boom. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Wow. That's so funny.
Thank you. But that is interesting, actually, Tanisha, because I've been thinking about that a lot recently. Like, I just I just have to fight that feeling or that thought or whatever that like then how am I different from anybody else? Like I have to constantly like fight that because I feel like a lot of my best attributes or a lot of the things that I wish I had other people have and then some and like so I have to fight that constantly that but like just I don't know like it's just we are different and I think that if you don't know that you're different then you don't know yourself enough. No
Yeah.
offense, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
In general, if you don't know that you're different then there has to be like some unraveling within yourself to where you're seeing like all these different there's something I read recently like all these different kaleidoscopic colors within yourself because
Yeah.
there's some shades in me that will be fine in no other human being.
Yeah.
Which, when we get to heaven, I heard that we will see colors that we haven't seen before. Anyway, that's not the point.
That's dope.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Tanisha said, what were you about to say something?
Yeah, but I forgot.
Sorry. Isn't it interesting how you think differently, but ultimately perform similar actions to also get similar results? Well, I'll remember how to respond to that, but you can say what you're going to say.
I just think that it's interesting. Like, if somebody were to ask me, which kind of just happened, like how I see identity or whatever, I don't really know that I would talk about the way that I think. Like, I think that I think differently than most people, and yeah, but I just wouldn't think of answering the question like that. Like, oh, my identity is like in the way that I think. It's hard. I don't know. I feel like I'll just say, "This is who I am." Like I don't know. How I think is just an extension of who I am. It's not like how I think is who I am. I'm not even necessarily saying that's what you would say, but to me, in my mind, there's a clear distinction.
Yeah. Okay. So, I think I can address that with Tenacious thing. So, she says, by the way, everyone, Tenacia is an INTJ.
Turn up, gang, gang, gang.
She's dope. Yeah, she's awesome. Isn't it interesting how you think differently but ultimately perform similar actions to also get similar results?
I'm sorry, you just went inside. Can we go? Is there a certain reason why we're out here? Because I have just been freezing.
Really?
Yeah, don't you see all this? I'm buttoned up. Or do you just really like it out here? Is that what it is?
I think this is a better. Well, it had better lighting earlier. Now it's getting dark, but to move everything would be disruptive, especially since we're gonna be we have the hot seat in less than 30 minutes. Could you bear it?
Yeah, I can bear it. I just thought I'd bring it up.
Got you. I'm sorry. I'll remember that for next time. But yeah. So that the thing is, so you're an FI user. I'm an FE user. So we have similar goals, which is harmony. Not me and you, as in all FE users. We're trying to okay. Let me try. Yeah, I'm trying to find the best way to explain it. You said ultimately perform similar actions to also get similar results. If we're trying to achieve harmony, FE is about, like I said, meeting people's needs and literally thinking about how can we structure society in a way where people's needs are getting met. Like, so TE is thinking about systems, like TE is the machines that we see at McDonald's that it's
Never
like
word.
that you go to them and then you make your order
Denzel.
and everything. FE is creating a system for humans to get their needs met, which so stuff like manners, being polite, all of that stuff. Like, how can we meet people's needs? Like how Martin Luther King Jr. is like, oh, we're not treating each other equally. It's how should we treat each other? So if all FE users have that common goal, then that's why it's going to appear similar. Yeah, etiquette. Yeah, that's another thing. Like how should we behave in society? How should we treat each other in society? How can we make sure that we are treating each other appropriately and everyone's needs are getting met and all of that, what systems can we create that'll be good for everyone to be able to follow? Not so that we lose identity or individuality, but so that we're still being appropriate with one another. So that's our external goal. So that's why it can ultimately seem, as you said, that we're performing like similar actions and all of that. But when we're thinking internally, we are, and that's kind of like what I meant by like there's different ways to meeting people's needs. You could be a doctor, or you could be a counselor. You could be, there's so many different ways. You could be a life coach, whatever. And and when you are thinking of all of these different ways and where you can achieve harmony, on my YouTube channel, I think that I talk about stuff that, not that I always do, but I think that I talk about stuff that other people don't even think about. And I've spoke to people like, I would have never thought about that. I have a message on proper texting, and then I differentiated the 3 different types of texters.
A video on.
Yeah, video. Yeah, I have a video on the 3 different types of texters, and then I'm literally teaching us how to properly text people. And I don't think that any other people could think about that and be like, I didn't know it was that serious. But it's like, well, what if we all understood this concept of being able to text people in this manner? The world would be a better place. So then all of these different things that I'm thinking about, like constantly observing society and looking at certain areas, and then having and mulling over those thoughts on like how can we better improve people, how can we better improve society, that is where my individuality sort of comes out. But then of course from the external it's going to look similar, because my goal is pretty much the same as other FE users, which is ultimately harmony. So, but then when it comes to our TI, then yeah, I think the best way to explain this, honestly, is you have to go and watch Michael Pierce's video on the quadras. And when you watch what they say about the beta quadra, you'll literally be like, oh, that makes sense. Because you're a gamma quadra, you and Jamila are gamma quadra, and pretty much what y'all are trying to do is it's not complete opposite. The delta quadra is complete opposite, which is STJs and NFPs. But SFPs and NTJs is kind of like they just want to be on their own, living life like in the mountains by themselves, and just going against like society or whatever, not even like really living in a society. While with the NFJs and STPs, they're trying to advance society. They're trying to like create the revolutions to help improve society. So we're all together. We do us type of mentality. And then the SFJs and NTPs are trying to like sort of like stabilize society, if I remember correctly. But yeah, if you go look at that, then that'll explain things a lot better. Hopefully I'm making sense. Yeah, thank you. Gang. Bear, because they got fur. Etiquette, yeah, you could be. Yes, you could be a baker. How dare you classify me as one of the 3 types of I didn't even say what
cold. We gotta go warm somewhere.
If y'all go, I'm following you. So, good luck.
Interesting, Denzel. So you would say that you would follow us even though we are the ones that want to be secluded? Because
I'd follow you and bring you back into society. Oh, little sheep, where are you going? See, I'm trying to be Christ-like, And Jesus said
and the reason I brought that up is because you're just assuming that, we just hate people. Exactly.
What are you talking about?
Don't worry about it. It's a gamma thing.
I'm trying to help you guys stay in a place where all of your needs are being met. Out there, it'll be harder for you to meet your own needs. But if
Yeah,
I
but
create a system where all their needs are
that's not
being
what you
met,
said. All you said was
I'm gonna come after you
exactly.
and bring you back.
Yeah, but that was after I asked you, and you had to formulate an answer to where you wouldn't sound.
Because I thought it was just explicit, like, or
Yeah, what if that's my need? Denzel would be very depressed. That's kind of the story of our college career on and off.
that's
We kind of struggle having consistent. Well, we're all right now, but we kind of would struggle having consistent friends. And Denzel, I mean, I didn't like it either, but I took it better. Denzel, his heart was aching, and that's why he loves you guys because y'all are his friends.
Yeah, that is actually true. I think that my closest
Give me a
friends.
handshake, yeah.
Yeah, y'all really should. That would be dope. I think that my closest friends are the people that I text often, and a lot of them the ones I haven't even met in person, or I've only met like a few times, like because like I said, I just like to be connected. That doesn't mean that we have to text every single day or anything. I just like depth. And when I see things starting to like fade, that doesn't mean like all of a sudden I've written you off as my friend, but you just start to go down the ranking. And I just like consistency, and that's kind of why low key I always wanted to start a cult where we'd all get along and everything. But that's a whole other story for another time, another live stream. But does anybody have any last burning questions for the last 5 minutes? And we'll try and do these more often. We'll be more on time, and we'll also have like a space where you guys can leave questions for future ones. We have upcoming videos coming to. What do you call it? Of not getting along. I heard wrong because I was. No, not a cult where we're not getting along. I will talk about my cult another time. And Monica, David's girlfriend, she actually has warned me about that. So maybe I shouldn't have said anything. Cause still trying to start a cult. Yeah.
That's why he went to follow me and Tanisha. He said if I can just get them by themselves. Anyway.
I think that everybody would love my cult. That's what I'm saying.
Yes, Denzel isn't trying to kill people. He just wants people to be willing to die for him.
That's not true.
Yes, it is true.
Wait. Oh, is that? No, I mean, that's not. Wait. What do you mean by that?
I mean exactly what I said.
Okay. Yeah, I want ride. I want ride or die friends because
Exactly.
I'm a ride or die friend. That's yes. So yes, I would want people. You just phrase things weirdly.
No,
like in our vows video, she said, "Wow, Denzel, he likes people rubbing on his abs." What? And then it's like I understood what you're trying to say, but it's like. People would have definitely talked just like how Tanisha just did. What is going on? What does that mean? But yes, I like ride or die friends. I like being deeply connected with people, and so I think about.
She said it legit doesn't count if you legit just ride or die for everyone.
But that's the thing. I don't ride or die for everyone. And they know that. Well, actually, no, they don't know that.
Hashtag 35 guests. Hashtag most of them were my side. Hashtag Denzel's phone was blown up the next day.
Yeah, I still have mad people hitting me. It's
all right.
And it's not even like that. It's not like, oh, I didn't want to invite you. I already explained it. Yeah, we're not going to open up that can of worms right now when we only have like about 5-10 minutes. But my cult, if I were to start it, just to glaze it all over, is literally, I think of a squad like the one from Victorious. They were a clique. They were tight. They were so woven, and they each had their own individual personalities. But they were super, super close to one another. Oh, cat. You don't like cats. Anyway, I just got distracted. I apologize. But I literally just got distracted. Oh yeah. So I just want tight knit friends. Like David has been my best friend since I was 2 years old. 2 years old, guys. I want stuff like that. Jamila has been my best friend since we came into college. You know, I want stuff that's like really consistent, that we're continuously growing. I don't really like those types of relationships where I'm like, now I'm invested in you, and then you just ghost on me. Like, there was a guy who I thought was gonna be my best man, and me and him don't really talk anymore, like at all. And it's unfortunate, but you know, it's like, okay, that's life. And
He
it's like
wasn't even at the wedding.
yeah, and I just
You might not even know we're
want
married.
I just want people. I just want. It's not that I dislike people like that, but I just want to know where I can organize people in my head.
I just wanna know your name, and maybe sometime we could hook up.
And be friends or be cool.
I just want blank.
Yeah, but yeah, that's pretty much what I want. I just want a really, really, really tight squad, and maybe that'll be when we have children 3-4 years from now, and I'll just have my own little family, and then it's like that'll be my little clique, that'll be my little cult, and you know David can join too, of course.
Music's so child.
Yeah, and then you know people just, you know, if you want to be part of us, then cool, but if you don't want to be connected with us, then that's you. See, I don't worry about things like this because there's only one file in my brain and it reads people I know. And I understand that. But I want to be able to have influence while still also knowing, okay, and David and I kind of spoke about this. As an FE dominant, I have more of an ability, more of a threshold to have connections with people and more energy for those people. But as much energy as I'm putting out to the general public, believe me, those who are super intimate with me get way more. So it may seem like, you know, like if people like, you know, like even honestly speaking, my subscribers, I hope they don't think that we're like best friends or something, you know. We're cool and everything, you know, but like a best friend, like there's a difference between like a David and a Jamila, and then, you know, I'm not gonna say any names, but you know.
Oh my god.
Wow, T.I. is really coming out.
I know, dude. You just get so heated.
I'm not heated. I'm
it's
fine.
cold in here.
I'm just. Now you're trying to play on my flaws.
Lisa.
I was undercaught.
Well,
I like you.
That's none of my business.
Oh, I like you. That's so funny. I rebuke that foolishness in the mighty name of Jesus.
Now say it in
David,
the
you're
accent.
already part of my cult.
Wow.
As in, first of all, I wouldn't even necessarily be the leader of this cult. That's the whole thing. It would be like what Jesus had. You know how he had his disciples?
First you're a cult leader, and now you're the Messiah.
I'm not saying that I'm the Messiah. I'm trying to be Christ-like. Jesus, he influenced the world, but he knew who his 12 was. And even in that 12, not only did one betray him, but on top of that, he had his intimate of that inner circle. So whatever he was giving out to the general public, that was great. But then he had his inner circle where they followed him. They were literally ride or dies for him, and he died for them. That's the thing. We have to have that reciprocation, and y'all don't understand what I'm saying. Never mind.
Denzel, it's me and David. It's okay.
What you're describing is a clique, not a cult. Yeah, I just like calling it cult because it's cool.
No, it's not cool. I don't want to be a part. I don't want to be the wife of a cult leader. Like, what? And you would be the leader because you are the common denominator between me and David.
I suppose.
Unless y'all want to be my sons.
Yes. See, I really like you, Matthias. That's cool. Yeah.
I told you, Denzel, everybody's just playing. It's all fun and games. We're all friends.
The word cult is scary. I had an experience with cult people. It wasn't. Y'all, this man is scary. The signs are here. I'm not gonna Jim Jones y'all. I promise. Like all I'm just saying is I just want close friends, guys. Consistent, close friends. Consistent, close companions. That's it. We're there. Exactly. And they know who they are.
Get your mans.
They know who they are. If you're not
you're
not consistent. No, nothing weird like that, Matthias.
Really? He just wants everybody to hug each other.
And get along. I want us to all be very close with each other. Just as close as you are with me, I want you to be close with Jamila and as close as... And we all just love each other. That's
He
all.
said instead of the KKK, we got the CCC.
If you're down, David. But yes, we won't call it...
None
of the C's will count as cult. How's that?
The cult of consistent close companion.
Oh man! Wow.
David's the secretary.
Oh no, you don't seem consistent.
Oh my god.
Oh man, yo, we gotta go. All right, y'all. This was fun. We're gonna do this more often, but let us know what questions. Real quickly, find us on Facebook. Especially, I have 2 pages. I have.
You might want to message me because I don't really be accepting people I don't know.
That's true. Yeah. You can find my business page, which is a Denzel Mensah, and then my personal page, which is DZ Mensah. On my business page, that's where you can message me. If you want coaching, you can email me at DEEZY2bless.
Oh my gosh, Tanisha says she's in charge of the execution.
At iCloud.com. And like I said, for right now, $25 if you want to know which personality type you are. I'll type you and I'll give you full explanation on all of that. And then $50 per hour on personal development coaching. So for now, when I get certification, it's gonna jack
for
up
a limited time only.
Yeah, it's gonna jack up to 125. So get ready, get it while you can. But yeah, thanks everyone for joining in. We'll let you guys know. Leave us questions for future ones. And tune in to our future videos. We have another video coming out called Ironing Clothes, and that is gonna be a pretty interesting concept. We haven't recorded it yet, but we've talked about it for months. So, yeah, and I think that.
How do y'all test to see if the iron's hot? Do you put it down and then feel the thing, or do you go like? Let us know in the comments.
That's
we'll
right.
See y'all.
Done.